On January 1st, 2018, Nest Storm Services Inc., a computer software training firm, leased several computers under a 2-year operating lease agreement from Computer World Leasing, which routinely finances equipment for other firms at an annual interest rate of 4%. Nest is lessee and Computer World is lessor. The contract calls for 4 rental payments of $10,000 each, payable semi-annually on June 30th and December 31st each year. The computers were acquired by Computer World at a cost of $90,000 and were expected to have a useful life of 5 years with no residual value. Both firms record amortization and depreciation semi-annually. How do I know this is a financing lease or operating lease? Even though the title says it's operating lease, we will take present value of all these payments and compare it to the fair value of these computers. Fair value of these computers is $90,000. The lease starts on January 1st, but the rental payments occurs 6 months later, June 30th. So that's an indication the annuity pattern is ordinary annuities. Then we pull out present value of ordinary annuity, PVA. The discount interest is 4% annually, but the payments was made semi-annually. So half of 4% is 2%. And the lease term is, I believe, 2 years. Yep. So there are totally 4 periods for us to discount. So 2% semi-annual interest rate and 4 semi-annual periods. So 2% for 1, 2, 3, 4. The discount factor is 3.80773. 2% period of 4, 3.80773. Multiply by rental payments. Each 6 months they will pay $10,000. So these $10,000 of payments are worth $38,077 for lessee. Is it high enough to treat this contract as sales? $38,077 divided by the fair value of these computers is only 42%. So we will treat this lease contract as operating lease. Let's calculate the present value of lease rental payments for lessee again. $10,000 multiplied by discounting factor. We go to present value of ordinary annuity because the first payment didn't occur until 6 months later. The 2% is half of the rate of 4%. 4% is annual rate. And then 2 times of payment per year, totally 2 years, we have 4 periods to discount. So multiply by 3.80773. So lessee will start a balance of $38,077. So on January 1st, 2018, lessee they lease from Computer World. So lessee will have a right of use asset for $38,777, and they have liability lease payable for $38,077. In the second journal entry says to record for lessee the interest expense on June 30th. So 6 months later, they made a payment. How much is interest? Let's do an amortization table. So January 1st, 2018 is the start of the lease. No cash is involved. Outstanding balance starts from $38,077. And then 6 months later, they start to pay rent. Rental payment is $10,000. 6 months later, the interest is based on previous balance. Semi-annual rates of 2%, half of 4%. The difference will be used to reduce the lease payable. So on June 30th, they have an interest expense for $762, and they have lease payable being reduced by $9,238, and totally they paid cash of $10,000. And then amortization expense for this right of use. Since this is an operating lease, on June 30th, the amount we reduce lease payable will be used to amortize the right of use asset. And then on December 31st, 2018, interest payment and lease payment. So let's do 6 months again. So another $10,000 of payment, previous balance multiplied by 2% of semi-annual rate. The difference between cash and interest is the amount we will reduce outstanding balance, which is lease payable. So we have interest expense again on the debit side for $577, and lease payable for $9,423. In totally, cash is paid out by $10,000. Amortization on December 31st will be this amount, will be the amount we reduce lease payable. Now the question for lessor is, on June 30th, when they receive payment of $10,000 from lessee, how do they record this receipt? Because this is operating lease, lessor does not have interest revenue. All their received cash of $10,000 represent a lease revenue. And because the lessor still has the title, the ownership of this asset, they need to depreciate the asset. The asset has a value of $90,000 and no salvage value, no residual value. So each year divided by useful life, 5 years. Each year they will depreciate this asset by $18,000. But they depreciate, the journal entries are recorded depreciation is recorded every 6 months. So divided by 2, I know the 6 months of depreciation is $9,000. So we have depreciation expense, $9,000, and accumulated depreciation, $9,000. December 31st, 2018, lessor received another $10,000. So that's cash, debit cash for $10,000. Operating lease doesn't involve with any interest revenue. So we have rental lease revenue for $10,000 again. And then depreciation for 6 months is still the same. Depreciation expense, we calculated before. Accumulated depreciation.